What is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast, and today we have a great episode ahead of us because a lot of the talk that we will be having today is not Cavs, it's not Browns. No, we're wearing it right now because I'm telling you what, these Gardos are really putting on a show as of late. They've been red hot at home. They've been playing pretty consistent, baseball for the past few weeks, and they are one of the top teams right now. Um, so this is going to be an all Guardians talk today. We got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Guys that we like right now, just things that are going really well. So Andrew, how are we feeling today? Obviously we swept the Mets today. I mean, I can't imagine you feel any better at this moment.
I mean, no, I feel fantastic. I like at first I was getting nervous because I was like, oh my god, McKenzie gave up 3 home runs. We're down 3-0. It's getting like
Yeah.
closer. It's like the sixth inning. We're getting closer to the end, and then next thing you know, the bats just wake up when we score six unanswered, and we just take it away, and everyone's just like, what the hell just happened? Mets
Yeah.
fans all over Twitter, and they're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, do we really just suck that bad? And it's like,
Right.
I mean, yeah, you do, but yes, you do suck that bad, but
Yeah. Yeah. The
but
Mets have
um.
been pretty rough as of. I mean, honestly, ever since the Lindor trade, I really think they haven't really had a great season.
Their only good season, I think, it was 2 seasons ago where they won 103 games, and
Mm.
that was like their only like good season.
And even then, I don't think Lindor actually played well that year.
No, he had like a 230 batting average
Yeah.
and hit. I mean, he still hit 30 home runs, which is what he does. But he
Yeah.
only batted like 220 or 230 or something. Like he had a very low batting. His best batting season stats were with Cleveland.
Oh
All
yeah.
with Cleveland because he's batting near 300 with Cleveland. And ever since he's been with the Mets, he's been batting like sub like 260. He's been batting like 250 or lower.
Yeah, and like honestly, I think with that, I think it comes down to him wanting to swing more for power and not really more for just getting on base and just
Mhm.
padding the stats. And I think when it comes to the Guardians, that's something that they do very well. That's why guys like Quan have like 50 plus batting average. That's why the Naylor Bros have been hitting well. David Fry has been on a tear. Like Jose, even with the power that he's been swinging with lately, I'm pretty sure Jose is what he's probably got a 280, 290 now by batting average. Let me see.
Jose is at a 258.
Okay, so he's a little bit below his usual stat, but honest to God, again, he's scoring a run every game. He's getting at least a hit every game, and I swear to God, every time I see him play, he gets a home run. And it's just he's been playing very efficiently. He's been playing the way that Jose likes to play, and um, with the way the Guardians have been playing, though, he doesn't always have to do it every game because it's different guys stepping up, and I think that's the biggest topic here today. Is a lot of different guys over the course of the last few weeks, really just all season long, have been stepping up big time when things matter, and it's always been a different guy each time. It's never just Jose. It's never just Naylor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of people. It's David Fry. It's Will Brennan. It's just guys coming out of nowhere and just playing phenomenal ball. Um, how have you been feeling in terms of some of these guys? What have been some of your favorite guys that you've been watching so far? Because you've been to, I mean, just about every home game.
Yeah.
I think that they could have had as long as he doesn't work. Andrew is at a home game. Okay, so you've been
Hey,
seeing it firsthand.
that ballpark pass, by the way, is amazing. It kind
Oh
of just
yeah,
allows me to go to every home game, but no, the only home games I don't get to go to are like today, where it's like a Wednesday 1 p.m. game,
yeah.
and I'm at work and I can't go. So that's the only downside. Unless I decide to take my laptop to the stadium and hook up to their Wi-Fi and just work from work from the
Right, which
game.
you probably could.
I probably could because I don't have meetings on Wednesdays. That's like my easiest and lightest day. So I probably could just wrap up my laptop, take it to the
Yeah,
stadium, and just kind of grind out some work while watching the
e-
ball game.
exactly.
But no, dude, this team has been fantastic, and they've been at home for the last 6 games. They won it 6-0 at home before they head to the road on Friday, going to LA and Colorado for a very small like 6 game West Coast road trip to LA and Colorado before coming back home. And I mean, the boys have just been cooking, dude. Like you said, guys besides Jose have just been stepping up at the plate.
Yeah,
You have guys like Stephen Kwan and David Fry both batting 350 apiece,
yeah,
which is David Fry unheard of because David Fry last year just came up as I
He's
ran him.
like a utility guy. Is what he
Well,
was.
and that's the thing. He came up last year as just kind of like, oh, we've been having some injuries in the outfield. We've been having some injuries in the infield. We've been having some first base troubles and some catcher injuries and stuff.
Yep.
David Fry plays every single position on the field. I mean, he was at third base a little bit today too. Like you could throw this guy anywhere and he will play it and he will excel at that position. And the thing is, like last year, his bat just popped off out of nowhere. Everyone's like, "Who the hell is this David Fry kid?" I think it was like his first game, and it was against the Astros, and he hit a walk-off double or something. Everyone's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Right.
Like, who the hell is David Fry? And that season, he batted like 260, and this year he's batting 350, and he's one of your best hitters besides Stephen Kwan. And it's getting ridiculous because I like to bet on sports, and every time David Fry's in the starting lineup, I always bet on him to get a hit, and he always comes through on that bet every single time. Especially against a lefty. Like today, he had 2 hits. It's no problem for him. Jimenez has stepped up big time. He excelled in his batting average again. He's back up into around 270. Ramirez is at 260. Josh Naylor regressed because he was at around 300 last year. He's at like 250 now.
But he's still hitting bombs and he's still driving in runs. I mean, he has 34
effective.
running back. I mean, he still has 34 RBIs on the season, which is second on the team. Only one that has anything better than that is Jose. He's got 45. So
yeah,
again, he's still doing his job regardless of his batting average.
And the thing is, even with Will Brennan and Tyler Freeman batting 220s, they've been absolutely clutch towards the end of the games. Whether it's getting a base hit to set up to get scored to allow them to get a run in, like they have been so clutch, and that's why you see Tyler Freeman now taking the first spot in Kwan's absence because we had Tyler Freeman towards the bottom of the order, wasn't hitting the ball well. We put him as a first hitter.
He's great now.
Like
much better.
His stats from being, I think it was like the 7th hitter to the number 1 hitter. He was batting like 215 as a 7 hitter, and as a 1 hitter, he's batting almost 300.
Yeah.
So that switch from being the leadoff guy and the 7th guy is astronomical. And I'm sure even when Kwan comes back, they might leave him as the leadoff and put Kwan as maybe like a 2 or a 3, or drop Kwan into batting or just a little bit so you can have more clutch hitting, or you could put him in the middle of the lineup and have a good bat in the middle of the order. So. Like, and again, everyone's like, well, he's only batting 200 or 220 or whatever. He's hitting clutch hits. Will Brennan, he started the day 0 for 2 against the Twins. I think it was on Sunday, and then hits a walk-off in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been doing all season. Like, oh man, Will or Freeman have been doing anything all game long. They're like 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts or like a couple grounders or whatever. And next thing you know, walk-off home run,
Yeah.
walk-off double, like gets a double to get on base to set up a walk-off or a win. Like, when these guys are just clutch. And David Fry, clutch as well. Like,
Very
if
clutch.
you need a base hit, David Fry will get you that base hit. Like,
Yeah.
It was funny because I was laughing with my girlfriend yesterday. We were driving home from dinner or whatever, and she goes, "Oh, David Fry's coming in for Kyle Manzardo." Like, they're switching pitchers, and he's like coming like mid at bat, whatever. They took out Manzardo, and David Fry comes. I was like, "I guarantee you." And I was like, "Is it against the lefty?" She goes, "Yeah, it's against the lefty." I was like, "Guaranteed home run coming up."
Yeah.
2 pitches later, just bombed.
Yeah, bombs.
And I'm like, I told you, it's just what he does. And I mean, this team has really shown, and I think it's because of Stephen Vogt and the fact that he has confidence in the young players. I said this before, and I'm sure it's been said on the podcast already, but if we still have Francona, we would still see Laureano in right field, because we just sent Laureano down yesterday for Jonathan Rodriguez, who has been 300 in AAA Columbus as a right fielder. So we just said Laureano, he can go down to AAA.
Yeah.
He got his, congrats to him, he got his first hit in RBI today as well.
Yep.
But if Tito were still here, Laureano would still be starting every day. Miles Straw would still be in center field starting every single day. Like he
And
would not
Hedges would
be an
be
everyday
playing almost every,
catcher.
yeah, yeah.
And so the thing is this is the difference between Stephen Vogt and you know Tito. Nothing against Tito, one of the best managers in baseball history, hands down,
Yeah.
and always will be. But he had no faith in the young players, like zero. At least towards the end of his managerial career, he started losing faith in like younger players. And Stephen Vogt's like, okay, let's get these young guys in everyday games
Yeah.
and just let them settle in and do their thing, and they have been. Freeman has proven to be a great center fielder. He's been making the same plays Straw has made, diving catches, gunning people out. Like it's literally having Miles Straw in the outfield, but with better hitting.
Yeah.
And same with now we've seen with Jonathan Rodriguez. Yeah, he's been playing great these past 2 games in the outfield, and he finally got a hit, and he's probably going to continue to get good hits, and he's probably going to be Laureano's replacement. It's Stephen Vogt's vote of confidence, no pun intended, but it's his vote of confidence in the young stars. Rocchio, he's solid.
He's playing
gonna,
better.
he's playing better.
He started off a little rough, but he's starting to finally find his grit.
But unlike what we had at shortstop last year, he is a lot better than Ahmed Rosario defensively. Yeah. 10 times better than Ahmed Rosario defensively. It's like having 2 platinum gloves and Jimenez and Rocchio at second and short, and they're just making insane plays together. But Rocchio will get his hitting together. He's always been a good hitter. Obviously, this is his first full year in the bigs. He will get there, obviously. It's just about giving these guys time, and that's what Stephen Vogt's doing. He's giving these guys time. And the faith in the young players is working. It's working. And, David Fry would probably have yet to play a single game so far under Tito. Same with likes of Freeman and Brennan. They might have had here and there at bats, but that's about it. Vogt has a plan for everything. And if everyone's like freaking out over the lineup, it's like, oh, this guy's in the lineup. This guy's in the lineup. Why are these guys in the lineup and not this guy? He has a lineup for right-handed pitchers. He has a lineup for left-handed pitchers. He has a plan for everything. He knows when to make his substitutions. He knows, oh shit, a left-handed guy is coming out of the bullpen. Let me take out Kyle Manzardo and put in David Fry because I'd rather have a guy who can hit a lefty. Oh, and don't get me wrong, he trusts Manzardo as a rookie. But would you rather have him? Probably more than likely ground out, fly out, strikeout, or would you have David Fry, who's great against lefties, who can just give you a guaranteed hit? It's what he does. Tito would never make these moves. So there's a reason why now we're, what is it now, 32 or 33 and 17 now, compared to last year, we're probably the flip flop record.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just comes down to the old school versus new school mindset in terms of managing. And I think the new school style of managing is really what's starting to overtake the world now in terms of the league. And that's why you saw teams like the Diamondbacks just come out of nowhere last year. Is it because you just find a manager that's able to unlock the young talent that that you have. You're great with your your farm and being able to call guys up and call guys down when they are needed. And it seems like the Guardians are just not afraid to do that when necessary. And I think it's smart, especially when you have guys in your minor league right now that are absolutely killing it. Like Manzardo was killing it in the minor leagues, and everybody was a little, oh, he's starting off rough. I think the dude's had a double in like four or five straight games now. Yeah. He's finally starting to hit the ball now, just like what you brought him up to do. And I think now for them, and this is sort of my next question that I want to talk about here a little bit, with Bo Naylor and Arias, a few guys that are young, have struggled at the plate at times, but you know what they are capable of. Are you worried about what's going on with them? Do you think anything needs to be changed with them, or just continue to ride it out and see how they are? Because I I feel more like riding out everything with Bo. Arias though is one guy I think that could easily go down to the minors if he continues to struggle or not be consistent at the plate.
Yeah, no. I think you just keep Bo regardless. Obviously, Bo's gonna stay and be the day one catcher
Has
regardless.
to. Yeah.
And his hitting will get a lot better. It's just a slump right now.
Yeah.
And if you were to send him down to AAA, he'd be hitting 270 right now. So
No.
there's no point in sending him down when you know he's gonna kill it in AAA. The reason why they're keeping him up here right now is not just for his hitting, but his
It's his
catching
catching. Yeah.
his catching has improved drastically from last season.
Oh yeah.
He's gunning out runners at second. His framework now is one of the best in the MLB. Like he is framing pitches to make balls look like strikes, and he is getting the starting pitchers and the bullpens pitching strike up counts going way up with his framing,
Yeah.
and that's why you keep him around. I mean, that's why you keep Hedges too, because Hedges is the same way.
Yeah.
Hedges can frame the ball very well. You keep Hedges more for the fact of he's good with the veteran pitchers that you have because obviously they played together before. Like Hedges will always start for the likes of like a Tristan McKenzie, like a Carlos Carrasco, Shane Bieber, because again, he's played with all three of those guys. So obviously he's gonna know them a lot better than Bo Naylor would. So you keep him in there just for hey, we know each other. I know what pitches he likes, where he likes them, stuff like that. And then Bo would take the younger guys like the Bibees, the Logan Allens, Gavin Williams when he comes back. So you again, it's just a plan for everything. Bo, and even sometimes when Hedges does catch, you'll see Bo as a DH. So it doesn't really matter because Bo's still getting at bats.
Yeah.
But with the Arias situation, it's one of those. Do you just keep flip flopping him and Rocchio? I think you're seeing a lot more of Rocchio playing more because he's just better defensively, and I think they're getting ready to find out that he's going to be a better hitter. No, don't get me wrong. The thing is, Arias started off the season very well hitting, and then now he's kind of just back to what he was last year, and that's just a poor hitter. I think soon enough we're going to see another call up in Schneemann from AAA Columbus, who is again another like third baseman, shortstop type as. Basically, he's mostly a third baseman. So, like how Arias will come in for Jose, and you'll see like Jose either DHing or taking a rest. You'll see Arias at third. That's the only time we'll see Arias now. I think you'll see Schneemann take that place instead of Arias because again, Schneemann's in AAA batting like 290 right now.
Yeah.
Like 295, 300. So again, it's one of those things where you just bring him up. You send Arias down to see if he can get his hitting improved or back on track. And you just it's one about letting the young kids work. And you give Schneemann an opportunity and let Schneemann see what he can do in the league. And if he does well, like Manzardo's picking it up, like Rodriguez, who got his first hit today in his first 2 games. If these guys just continue to do what they do best and hit well and play good, they're going to be the ones to stay. And then Jose is going to feel comfortable knowing that he's got a guy who's backing him up who could come in for him and he could take a day off and he could be like, shit, I need a day off. Schneemann is really good. He's batting like 260 right now. Like he's like, let him take the day. Like let him get some rest. So again, it's all about trusting the young talent that you have. So I think Arias is likely the next person to fall. And who knows? Maybe the Guardians will do something at the deadline. Maybe they'll get someone to replace Arias. Maybe I'm sure Florial is going to be gone soon enough too, because I don't think they got him here to stick around and be a long time solution. I think he was just more of we just had a couple injuries and he was just kind of there to fill a void. So you'll start seeing some of these guys, Arias, Florial, just like start trickling away like Laureano and Straw did.
Yeah.
And this team is one of the youngest in baseball, and they're going to be the best looking young team in baseball. You got rid of the old guys. You got rid of your Laureano already 2 days ago. You got rid of Miles Straw, who's batting barely 207 in AAA. So, Miles Straw's done. Um, in reality, you got these young great hitters in AAA who are just waiting to call up, and obviously you got Chase DeLauder who's getting ready to come back from injury, and Akron who's probably going to be the one to replace Florial
Yeah,
here soon enough when he gets back
yeah.
from his ankle injury, and he's been batting like 275 in Akron, so and he's started launching home runs. He's almost at double digit home runs now, so he's gonna get quickly caught up from Akron to Columbus and from Columbus to Cleveland. So maybe sometime by All Star Weekend or whatever, you'll see Chase DeLauder on the team, and it's all gonna come to a head.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is probably the most exciting and I think the most positive thing about having such a young squad like this is you have that ability to be like, okay, you know what, this guy needs a little more time in the minors. Let's bring this guy up, and it's sort of like a switcheroo thing. And I know that can suck for some of these players, but the
Yeah.
reality is sometimes that's just how it goes, and sometimes guys can't catch on, and you have to be willing to make that decision. And I don't think the Guardians are short in doing that because
Yeah.
they've already started that, and I think it's going to continue that way, especially as the year progresses. You know, DeLauder is one guy I think every Guardians fan wants to see up at some point. I would guess. I think a sweet spot for him to be here is probably like July at some point.
Yeah.
Just for that run, get him enough months in the in the big leagues where he has enough at bats. He has enough maturity to be able to go through all those because I mean, if we continue to play the way that we are playing, there's no doubt in my mind that we are going to have October baseball, which is always lovely in Cleveland. I think it's one of the best crowds to be in. There's been some sellout crowds in Cleveland lately. Things have been great. Like
Yeah.
the Guardians are just playing well. They're one of the best teams. They have one of the lowest payrolls in the entire major league. It is great. It is the weirdest but coolest flex I think we have, and I think it is just a testament to just how amazing our minor league system is. I think it's one of, if not the best farm in the MLB period. Like, and I've thought that for many, many years because you got to think about the guys that have been bred from our farm systems. I mean, the Lindors, the Jose's, the Cliff Lees, the CC Sabatias, the names go on over the years. They've all come from our farm. And it's just a testament to how great this organization develops their players over time to be really good players in the majors. And it's shown. And I think it continues that way. And I'll tell you what, the guys that we could have up here soon, it's going to be a lot of fireworks, I think. And that's why I think July will be when we'll see a guy like him because I think he will bring some fireworks. I'm really, curious to see what Jonathan Rodriguez brings as well. I know he just got his first hit today, so I would love to see him get more, of a shot, and I think Vode will do that. And then also a name that you mentioned earlier that I also want to give credit to, or at least hopeful that he'll be here soon is Gavin Williams. That's one of the downsides that our team has had is sometimes the pitching isn't as consistent. Gavin Williams could very well set the tone there, but make no mistake about it. And this is my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of Guardians feel the same way. I think Tanner Bybee is the ace of the future right now for this team. It's not like McKenzie doesn't have the ability to, but until he figures out what's wrong with him and figures out how to either work around it or decide to go get some surgery, an actual shoulder surgery, whatever he needs, Bybee is the guy. And he had a great outing the other night, and it's one of those outings that he could really build on and really start to set himself apart because he played well last year, and we all know that that's in him, and he has the ability to go 7 innings and strike out 10, 12 people and only have one walk and give up one run. Like that, dude, that's dominance, especially in this day and age with how good hitting is nowadays. To give up 1 or 2 runs, I think, is a W every time a pitcher can go on the field. So, it'll be nice to see Gavin get thrown into the mix of this, especially with his team playing as well. I think it will give him a nice cushion for him with how well we've been hitting the ball to not really stress about only being able to give up 1 run or 2 runs, because we know he's capable of being a guy that literally has like a 2, ERA or better. And sky really is the limit for this team. And I'm just really loving the overall vibes too. Like everybody seems to be having so much fun. The players, the coaches, the fans, like everybody is just in a really good mood, and it's nice to see, especially after the Cavs, losing and all of the rumors going on right now with that. It's just nice to have some just chill vibes within Cleveland's media right now. Like our sports media is in a decent place, which I'm happy about. And I also mentioned Gavin. I also do want to mention Quan. Should be coming up here really soon as well. I think he's about a week or two out. I'm sure uh, it could be even sooner than that. Who knows? But it sounds like he's getting really close to being back. I mean, with the way this team is hitting right now, to add Quan back into the lineup and have Freeman potentially still lead off and have Quan slowly work his way back up and be still a top 3 hitter for us. I mean, my gosh, I can't even imagine what this team would actually look like with also DeLautner and even Manzardo when he's on. I mean, my gosh, dude, there's just hitters 1 through 9 right now. It's unfreaking believable.
And that's the thing, and this is where I give the Dolans credit, because yes, we're 28th in payroll out of 30 teams. 30 or 28th out of 30. The only 2 teams below us are the Pirates and Athletics, for obvious reasons. And this is where I give the Dolans so much credit, because everyone's like, the Dolans don't like to spend money, and I thought about it because again, I was one of those people who are like, well, the Dolans don't like to spend a lot of money, which is why we were horrible last year and stuff like that. But then I come to the realization they hit on the Lindor trade with getting Jimenez and Rosario. They're out of that because they traded Carrasco and Lindor for basically Jimenez and Rosario. The thing is, and this is the one thing that I like, is if we were to have paid Lindor, number one, we probably wouldn't have half the players we have on the roster now. Jose would have been gone most likely. And the Guardians would probably be close to a 100 loss team every season. And I thought about it again. It's one of those things that I pondered, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is the exact same thing that Detroit did, because Detroit spent so much money on Cabrera, and when they got Miggy Cabrera on that, like I think it was like a 10-year max, that basically Lindor got whatever from New York." For the last decade, the Tigers were one of the worst teams in baseball the entire decade. Like 100 loss every season. Because in order to get Miggy's contract, they got rid of Justin Verlander, and they got rid of so many other people. And they're like, well, we're gonna get rid of you guys so we could pay Cabrera, who won the Triple Crown. He's a great hitter. Obviously, don't get me wrong, deserving contract because he's a great, fantastic player. Congrats on his retirement after last season. But it crippled Detroit for pretty much almost the entire 2010s decade, because I think they got rid of Verlander in 2015, and it was around 2015, and then because I think that was still like during like a portion of Miggy's contract, and after they got rid of Verlander, literally for the last decade, 100 losses, and I was like, thank God the Dolans didn't do that, because we'd be right there in the basement with Detroit. Because it's like, okay, cool, yeah, we have Francisco Lindor, and what if Lindor was doing the same thing he's doing with the Mets now, batting right now 193, not doing shit? We'd be furious, and I'm sure the Dolans would have been gone by now for doing something like that. But what they did was they kept the farm system, grooming fantastic players, They've been getting sneaky good draft picks. I mean, a lot of these pitchers that we have weren't even first rounders. A lot of these pitchers that we got were like fourth beyond, and they're elite. And I mean, we groom pitchers regardless. So it's one of those things where the Dolans did the right thing. I mean, you got rid of Aaron Savali last year for Kyle Manzardo. You got you got rid of
Savali's struggling right now too, by the way.
Savali's struggling. You got rid of Cal Quantrill for I think it was some like cash considerations and something else. And I think you got a player out of it. I want to look and see you got a player out of it.
All I know is Cal was pretty bad last year for us too. So honestly, I was cool with him going.
And the thing is, he started struggling. We just received a couple of like minor league catchers or whatever, and I think they might be in like single A and like the high A, whatever. So nothing crazy that we got for Cal from Colorado, but the thing is, we got rid of these guys that we really didn't need anymore. Some of the older guys, and we got deals, and we got absolute steals. And then, like you said, we still have Gavin Williams, who's yet to come back, and he's your number one prospect in your entire minor league system. Gavin Williams is the number one prospect in the Guardians system. And guess what? Like you said about Tanner Bybee, Gavin Williams is supposed to be the predecessor to Shane Bieber. And then Tanner Bybee is supposed to be a close second. Then Logan Allen's a close third. And then you're supposed
Tristan
to just have
McKenzie
this,
as well. Yeah,
Tristan McKenzie. Like you have this elite rotation. And the thing is, the McKenzie's issue right now is just the fact that he's pitching with a torn shoulder.
Yeah.
With a torn ligament in his shoulder. If he got that fixed, you would see old McKenzie again. I guarantee it. You would see old Tristan McKenzie. You see his velocity back. He'd be throwing 95 again instead of his fastball going 88, 89.
Yeah.
You'll see his stuff being nasty again. Like his curveballs were disgusting. His sliders were disgusting. Now they just hang over the plate and it just gets crushed.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, and that was the same thing last year when he came back. I think if he got surgery, and again, I still believe that it might happen once Gavin Williams does come back, that they might consider him getting surgery, because you can get Karinchak back, you can get some of these other guys back, and guess what? Hunter Gaddis is a starter.
Yeah.
Before we moved Gaddis into the bullpen, he was a starting pitcher, and AAA, AA. He even started a couple games last year and 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So you could put Gaddis as a starter. Xavier Curry, who's had 2 great starts this year against Boston and a game ago. He had a great outing. So you can throw in Xavier Curry. And those are to say, like, you can have those 2 guys as starters.
Yeah.
They don't need to go no more than 4 or 5 innings. Because then you could just throw in your bullpen after that.
Yeah.
So this team, like, you don't need McKenzie out there to break his shoulder even more. I think you can tell McKenzie, like, hey, listen, Gavin Williams is back. Go get your surgery. You and Shane will be back next year, and you guys could both be firing on all cylinders. And this pitching would be even more deadlier and elite with you guys.
And
like,
it's crazy to look at right now because I'm seeing the stats for our pitchers. So Bybee has the most strikeouts.
Yeah.
But Tristan McKenzie actually leads our team in ERA, which is very surprising to me because
he gets a lot of flyouts and groundouts.
Yeah.
Because even if he,
and he
even
walks
if he gets,
a lot. He has double the walks
Yeah.
to even the next pitcher, which is Logan Allen.
Yeah.
That's I think his biggest issue is he's gotten a lot of walks. He's given up a lot of homers. He's given up only 20 earned runs, so I have to imagine that it's just it probably happened a lot more in the beginning of the season. It sounds like he's getting a little bit better, but again, it's one of those issues where you still feel like there's something missing out of him, and like he's struggling. But Xavier Curry, man, 1.93 ERA in 2 starts. I mean, he's only pitched 9 innings, but I mean, you can't really ask for anything better there.
Well, and that's the
Um,
thing. Like, if you take, because my thing is like Mackenzie can go get surgery. I forgot about Ben Lively, who's been
yeah,
an absolute stud this
I
year.
was just gonna say his name next too.
Yeah, and so you could
2.84 ERA.
literally replace Mackenzie with Xavier Curry, and there's your starting pitchers. There's Gavin Williams, Tanner Bybee, Logan Allen, Xavier Curry, and Carlos Carrasco.
Yeah.
And it's not like Carrasco's been horrible. I mean, yeah, he's got a 5.16 ERA, but he's been serviceable. And that's all you really needed him to be because I'm sure he's just going to retire after this year. He's 38, 39 years old. He's just going to retire. So he's you're just there just to have the extra pitcher, basically. And I totally think that McKenzie can go ahead, get surgery, get his stuff right, and just let the other guys do their job.
It now I will say though, and I'm curious what they do with this guy. It's Carlos Carrasco.
Yeah.
He's struggled. He's got a 5 ERA and 45 innings pitched. He's given up 48 hits, which I don't think is the most. No, it's third most. Logan Allen has given up the most hits. He's another guy, even though he has the most wins on our team, has given up almost 5 runs a game as well. So those two guys in particular, I'm curious to see, especially where Carrasco goes, because Carrasco is at the tail end of his career. He's older, so like, could should we not have expected that? Like, you should have expected Carrasco to not really do well in the starting role when he hasn't really been a starting role in the past few years since he left our team. So I'm really curious to see what happens there. But Ben Lively, man, seeing his stats right now, just consistency, and I think that's the biggest thing with these guys, and that's what I want to look for out of the starting rotation, especially when Gavin gets to come back, because once he does come back, that could really add some velocity and some fire into the starting lineup. Because I think that's really the only thing that we've struggled with. Because other than that, the Indians are winning. Or sorry, the Guardians. I'm gonna get yelled at now because I just said the Indians. Guardians are going to win games because they're hitting the hell out of the ball. I mean, we're scoring 5, 6, 7 runs a game. It seems like right now because the guys are just going to bat every single time, and it helps those guys that are starting those games having to pitch for us, because when you don't have runs like we did last year, where it seemed like it was a struggle for us there for a while to score runs, it puts more pressure on your starting guys to only give up a run or two, and now guys can give up 2 or 3, even 4, and we're still going to score 7. And I think that is really the biggest difference within this team, is it's overcoming enough adversity to win ball games, and especially when games late, guys continuing to step up. It's just been a fun year so far, and the fact that we have essentially doubled our wins, because I think last year when we got to 32 wins, we were at 38 losses.
Yep.
Like, and now we're at 33 or 34 now. I'm like 17, I think, or something.
33 and
And
17.
yeah, so we are. I mean, we're top 3 or top 5 teams
We
in the league right now
are.
overall.
Let me double check because I saw
I
this.
want to say it's
earlier.
top 3 or 4.
We are tied for second best record with the Yankees and the Dodgers, because the Yankees and the Dodgers both had the same exact record as us at 33-17.
And they have like double the payroll, if not more.
The best team in baseball is the Phillies with 35 and 14.
And even they have a bad payroll because of Harper.
I want to look at the payroll.
Because
List
payroll
again.
differential, like, I don't even think we have 100 mil. If we do, it's literally 100 mil.
So our payroll is 93.3 mil.
Yeah.
The Pirates are second to last at 29th with 85.7, and then the Athletics are 30th with 60.5.
And those two teams are bottom feeders. So like,
And the Yankees are second. Are the Yankees, Dodgers, and Phillies are second, third, and fourth. The Yankees at 303.3, the Dodgers at 250, and then the Phillies at 243.4.
Which just proves that you don't need to pay a shit ton of guys
and
to win you games all the time.
And number one is the Mets at 305 mil.
And they suck. I mean,
And they're
we just
horrible.
swept them. I mean,
And
we
just
swept them. And like, that's a legit concern. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about this since we might as well. The infamous Lindor trade. You know, Lindor came back to play against us at home for the first time in 5 years. And after this series, I think we can all confidently say that we won that trade. Without a doubt. Especially when you got guys like Jimenez literally hitting a home run today in front of that crowd. And Lindor is striking out every game, just not really playing confidently. And it was funny hearing him talk about, like, you know, what happened ultimately, and it was always numbers for him. So at the end of the day, the dude didn't really care about winning. He just cared about getting paid. Well, you got paid, and now you're freaking miserable in New York. And it can't be fun playing for the Mets because the Mets are like, they're the New York team that not a lot of people like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, usually when you think of New York, you think of Yankees. You know, you don't really think of the Mets. Well, now you're on the bottom feeder part of the New York, you know, teams. And sorry, Mets fans, because I know y'all are loud and proud, but I feel for y'all because you cannot have a payroll that high and be that bad of a team. Like, that's just, I don't even know who to blame there at that point. Is it coaching? Is it the players? I don't know. But that's got to be a bad spot to be in. And, you know, we could be critical about the, you know, Guardians and the way that they've handled losing some of these guys over the years. But they've always overcome it. And we've never been a team that's been a sub 500 team for that long. Like, we are one of the most consistent teams in the majors for the last, like, 2 decades.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the stats, like, I can't even recall a time where we've had back-to-back, like, losing seasons. I'm sure it's been a minute, probably not as long as I think it was, but this team always finds ways to win. And now that we have a new coach, we have new players, like, the vibe overall, it's one of the best vibes I think we've had since probably 2016 or 17, which I honestly, even though we got further in the playoffs in 2016, I think that 2017 team was such a vibe because of the win streak and just coming off of that 2016 year. I think everybody had a lot of, you know, high hopes for that team, and they fell short in the playoffs. But this team right now, man, like, they are so much fun to watch. It's like the Cavs last year when we were like, well, how did they get this good so quickly? Or even before we got Mitchell, it was, how are the Cavs winning 45, you know, games in a year? Like, that's just, what the hell? That's the type of team that we're feeling right now with the Guardians.
Yeah. So to answer your question about how the Guardians did and the last time they were like kind of like bad before last season, 2023 we finished 76 and 86. We were third in our division. Obviously, we didn't make the playoffs. In 2021, we were 80 and 82 in second place and didn't make the playoffs. But before that, from our 80 and 82 season in 2021, the last horrible season that we've had was 2012, where we barely won 65 games in 2012. So we've been good from 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Just missed down the playoffs in 21, made the playoffs in 22, missed the playoffs in 2023, and we have one of our best starts since, I believe it was 19. It was like some like 2011 or something. It was like this is like our best start since like 2011 or something. So our last horrible season was literally 12 years ago.
That's just, Because like even last year wasn't that great of a year. Like I'm pretty sure we were sub 500 or like right
We
around.
were sub 500. We were 76 and 86.
But didn't we still make the playoffs somehow last year? Or no, I don't
That
actually.
was
Don't remember.
2022.
Yeah, it was
2022,
22. That's right.
2022, we went 92 and 70, and we won the division.
I mean, and this is a team right now that could very well win 100 games this year. But like, even if you go 92 and 70 again, you're probably still winning the AL Central because the AL Central, man, it's kind of whack this year. Like the Twins aren't very good, the White Sox aren't very good, Detroit kind of sucks. Like I don't know, man. I mean, I don't even know how the Royals are doing. It's all been pretty much Guardians talk for me.
The Royals are a game and a half behind us.
Okay,
The
so
Royals
like
are at,
they're solid.
they're 32 and 19. They're funny enough, they're also on a 6-game win streak like we are.
So
They're,
that
they're,
okay, so then that will be a fun series throughout the year that'll really be like, okay, which of these teams are gonna win the, you know, that division because whichever one doesn't, it's probably gonna end up being a wild card if
yeah.
it continues to pace.
Minnesota and Detroit started off the season really well. Minnesota are now on they're on a 2-game win streak now since after losing getting swept by us. They're 26 and 23, and then Detroit finally fell under 500 to 23 and 26. And Detroit started off the season like really well, like as one of the top 3 teams too. So Detroit's fallen off big time. Minnesota keep bouncing up and down. They keep losing like 7 in a row and then winning like 8 in a row or whatever. So they just keep going back and forth. So they're gonna be highly inconsistent. The only ones who are really good and consistent are just us and Kansas City, and that's because Kansas City doesn't have really much hitting besides Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez, but their starting pitching is one of the best in baseball.
Okay.
So that's why they're so hot right now. Is that they are one of the better pitching teams in baseball, and we also still one of their bullpen pieces in Scott Barlow,
Oh yeah, that's
which is
right.
kind of
We did.
funny.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, so like, and that's the name of the game too. It's like it's either you're just one of the better hitting teams, or you got a solid starting
and
rotation that doesn't give up runs.
and to keep this in mind too, just like how we are great at home because we're 18 and 6 at home after today, and we're 15 and 11 on the road. Kansas City is 21 and 8 at home, but they're also 11 and 11 on the road. So Kansas City, while good, horrible on the road still.
Okay,
So that's another thing to keep in mind. If when they come to Cleveland, they are not good on the road.
interesting.
They are 500, but when you play them at their ballpark, one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah, who man, the White Sox are just absolutely god awful again, which is not really a surprise. So I pulled up the standings now, so I'm seeing what you're seeing.
Funny enough, the
Um,
Athletics are not the worst team in baseball.
yeah, I mean the Angels are pretty bad. Chicago seems to be the worst so far. Is there
Chicago
anybody
and Colorado are the
worse?
worst.
Oh yeah, the Rockies. Poor Rockies, man. The Rockies haven't been good since we should have beaten them instead of the Red Sox way back when. I think it was like 2007 or some shit back in the day. God damn it, dude. We should have had that. But again, the Guardians. I mean, they are one of the best teams in the entire league. Obviously, they're top three. I mean, they're in great position right now, and I think as long as they continue this, there's no reason why we can't be the best team in the Central. And there's no reason at all like why we can't be one of the best teams in the AL in general.
Well, and
Because
like you said too, like between us and Kansas City, whoever wins the division, the other team is going to get the top wild card spot most likely.
yeah,
So whether it's us who win the division, Kansas City will get a wild card spot, or if Kansas City wins the division, we'll get the wild card spot. So basically, it's almost at least right now, it's guaranteed the top 2 teams in the Central are going to the playoffs, guaranteed. Because the only other team is the Orioles from the East, and they're 29 and 18, and Boston's almost 500. Same with Tampa Bay, but it seems like the AL West is one of the worst divisions in baseball because they
and
only have
dude,
one team above 500, and that's Seattle at 27-22. Other than that, everyone else is below 500.
and I will say I love to see Houston at 22 and 28.
Oh, I do too. I think
I
everyone
love
loves
it.
it. Like
I love it.
do you see the run differential at -8?
Yeah, that's bad.
They're horrible at hitting. Like their hitting is
Well,
garbage.
and it's because they lost guys.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they lost one of their better hitters to the Yankees, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Soto was part of that team,
Juan
wasn't he?
Soto.
Yeah. So I mean, losing him like that has got to suck for that team. But also, they're starting. Guys pitching are old as dirt. I mean,
They
I'm
still have
gonna pull up
Verlander
their.
pitching.
Let me see their starting rotation here. So yeah, they do still have Verlander. They still have Valdez. Um, they still have Hunter Browns, Brian Abreu. I think one of their guys went down at some point too. But like, I mean, they still have Altuve, but he's also
Yeah,
34. Like the age here, man. The age is like Justin Verlander's 41. Uh, like that's not good for them at all. Altuve
no,
34. Singleton 32. They're just getting older, and they've lost some of their better players. So obviously they're going to struggle quite a bit.
yeah,
And so yeah, I'm really glad to see the cheaters finally getting put back in their place and not being a great baseball team because
yeah,
teams like us and many more are much more deserving because we do it the right way.
yeah,
And it's unfortunate it happened, but karma always seems to come back eventually. Like again, that's just
yeah,
how it is. I love it.
yeah. Also, I do want to dive back to the Lindor trade just real quick
Yeah.
because obviously Lindor ended up signing a 10-year, $340 million contract with the Mets. Um, According to Terry Pluto, um, he talked with Jose about it and stuff the other day, and Jose obviously got just before the 2022 season. Ramirez signed a 7-year, $140 million contract to stay with the Guardians, and Jose said that's a lot of money. I don't want to go anywhere. They leave me alone and let me play baseball here, and that's that's the thing. He took a mad because Jose could have gotten about the same contract as Lindor, and he took a nice hometown discount because he just likes it here. He loves it here. He's like, they just leave me alone here. They don't. Nobody bothers me. Like I'll go into the city, nobody bothers me. Like they just let me play baseball, and it's a lot different than going to big market teams like your Chicago's or your LA's or your New York's, where
Yeah.
if you play one game and you like strike out your first at bat, they're gonna boo you out of the city and they're gonna try and throw you out of the city as fast as they can because they don't care. So I think that's one of the main reasons why Lindor is struggling in New York because here he could just focus on baseball. He can play baseball. He can just enjoy the town. Like he can relax here,
Yeah.
like Jose. And New York, he's getting smoked by reporters. He's getting smoked by fans. Like, and you can see it's just taking a giant wear and tear on him. And I think he's starting to realize, like, shit, I shouldn't have taken the money. I should have just stayed here and taken a big discount too, like
Mm-hmm.
Jose. And he probably would have, he probably would have guided us deeper into that 2022 playoffs, and we probably would have beaten New York in that 7-game series or that 5-game series. Um, and I think we would have because we went to Game 5. We went to the final game. We went to Game 5 with New York, and we just lost, like barely. Like
Yeah.
we almost made the ALCS in 2022 with a dog shit squad, basically,
Yeah.
and the youngest team and the youngest roster in the league. And we're sitting here now. Lindor is struggling. The Guardians are looking great. And all it took was the Mets got Lindor and Carrasco. We got Jimenez, Rosario, and 2 prospects in Josh Wolf and Isaiah Green. Now I don't know if either one of those guys are still here.
And
I
we
want,
got it. Well, and we got Carrasco back anyway.
yeah,
So really, we only lost Lindor.
and yeah, and that's exactly right. We just lost Lindor at that in that rate because I mean it's just I don't know, dude. It's actually kind of hilarious. And Isaiah Green, I looked it up. Isaiah Green is with the Lake County Captains right now, and I tell you what, this kid's a stud. Looking at his reports. I mean, when we got him in 2022, or when we got him, he has been averaging his batting averages at like 280. And I forget the other guy who we got. We got Josh Wolf, a right-handed pitcher, which I'll take a look at him as well. But I mean, the Guardians, it's just absolutely crazy of what we were able to do. And it's one of those craziest things. Like, everyone thought the Dolans were dumb, and and here we are with one of the best minor league teams or minor league farms in the whole entire MLB. We have a pitching factory in the minor leagues. We have guys who can fill any position at any point. And this team's just built like, we got a younger manager, a very young manager, who's come in, taken the league by storm, brought in new age coaching. We have, again, one of the youngest teams in the league. We're killing it, dude. And the Dolans, and that was all a testament to the Dolans, and everyone's freaking out because we're like, oh, we didn't spend $400 million on players and stuff. We don't need to.
No.
And the thing is, we probably will never will. We will still have one of the lowest payrolls in the league. But you know what?
As long as we win games, who cares?
Yeah, we're winning games. And the people who we draft, the people who we get, they do well in the farm system. They come up and they play well here.
Yeah.
So you have the best farm system in baseball. And not to mention it, you also have the #1 draft pick this year.
Yeah.
Which is even better because you have another top prospect coming in guaranteed. Yeah. And guess what? That prospect is going to be a stud.
Yeah.
So it just keeps getting better and better for Cleveland baseball because we haven't sucked really since 2012.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, we sucked 2 out of the last 4. Yeah. We barely missed 500 in 2022, or excuse me, 2021.
Yep.
And in 2022, we made the playoffs. Last year, yeah, we were 10 games below 500.
But we also had a lot of injuries last year as well.
Last year was a very injury-prone season last year.
Especially the end, man. Fuck.
And even to think, we were still a game away from winning the division for halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have all those injuries, we probably would have won the division.
Yeah.
So, for the last over decade, the Guardians have been one of the hottest and best teams in baseball. And that's really the only sport we've actually got to enjoy here in Cleveland because the Browns at that time sucked. The Cavs were bouncing up and down at that time. Now, I tell you what, Cleveland sports is great now. The Guardians are playing well. The Browns, who we're going to talk about soon enough in the next couple of weeks, are back in OTAs and stuff, and everything's going to look good this year. The Cavs, if they can get rid of JB Bickerstaff, are going to look good this year.
Which, from what I've understood about the meetings there, it sounds like there is a considerable difference between JB's ideologies and the way that the front office feels about JB. So, I'm assuming we could hear probably something about that within the next week. So, hopefully by next episode, we'll have some more
JB news.
JB news, because, I mean, you and I are both on the same wavelength there.
Yeah.
We want him gone. I think a lot of fans want him gone. I think
everybody wants him gone.
I think it's just the right move, and I think it's the only way you're going to keep Donovan is if you get rid of JB.
Yep.
And it could also mean getting rid of Jared Allen and or Garland. But if the return is worthwhile, then it's worth it because the team has so much potential, and it's just being clustered by a crappy coaching.
Doesn't Donovan and Garland have the same agent?
I think I think Garland has the same agent as LeBron. Like, I think.
Oh, that's what it is. Because
I think he's got clutch.
Because everything I've seen was if Donovan signs an extension, they mostly Clutch basically said they're gonna look for a trade for Garland because it's good. They already know it's gonna be Donovan's team, and Garland's gonna kind of get pushed to the back. And
I mean, if they want to give him to like Miami or something and go get a Tyler Hero and some change, sign me up. And then
That's what I'm saying.
And then I don't care what you do with Jared Allen, but you can afford to get rid of Jared Allen because Mobley can handle the center position.
Well,
So
and that's the thing. They want to give Mobley the max like rookie extension they
yeah,
can.
as they should. He
And
fucking earned it in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've been hearing was they're gonna probably dump Garland and Allen and probably maybe even package them together in a trade, and then they're gonna give Mobley the max rookie extension, and
And
then
then
they're gonna
obviously
resign.
Donovan.
They're
yeah,
gonna give
helps.
Donovan like a 4 to 5 year extension.
Because I mean, we have the ability to pay Donovan like it's tens of millions more than anybody else will. So yeah, it's going to be one of those things where I think JB is going to start the domino. And by June, like mid June, we're going to hear about trade rumors. Very very badly, especially before the draft. If not, definitely after the draft, because the draft is going to determine some things for some teams, obviously, as it always
Yeah.
does. So, Cavs news is always going to be there too. But honestly, like with the Guardians playing as well as they are, I'm really excited to be talking more about them. But
Yeah,
you know, OTA starting, the Browns are coming back here. I really like our schedule. The more and more that I look at it, you know, I really feel like the Browns could start the first month off undefeated. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about that schedule. So,
same.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. This year's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see what Cleveland sports can bring us because I really think this is going to be a good year for us. But
Yeah, I think this is gonna be an amazing year for us, and the Guardians looking really fucking good, dude. I can tell you
listen,
that.
October is going to be sweet because if we
Oh,
can
yeah.
get Guardians baseball in October, if the Browns are starting off 4-0, 5-1, or whatever, and then you got Cavaliers like by basketball starting at the end of October, dude. October is one of the best months for sports I think ever because of all of those sports going
Then you
together.
got Ohio State football at that time as well.
True, you got Ohio State too, which I'm also really excited about because Ohio State.
It's looking
If
really
you
tasty.
thought they were nasty last year, guys, they are going to be filthy this year. There was
They're gonna be-
zero reason why they can't win a national championship this year with that running back duo that they have. Holy crap! I'm so excited for that team.
It's gonna be.
Don't
dude,
even get me
October's
started.
Gonna be, October's gonna be such a great time.
It's gonna be lit. So, dude, this year's gonna be great for us. It's gonna be great for just sports in general here in Ohio. So, I'm really excited to see what is gonna be brought to us. But Andrew, before we get off here, do you got anything else to say? After this, you know, Cleveland Guardians sweep and all of the positive vibes going right now.
All I gotta say is like, let's go Guards, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go
yeah.
Guards.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, go ahead and follow us on Twitter. I finally have our Twitter on my phone, so I'm going to be a lot more active on there. And I'm really going to try to actually actively tweet instead of just trying to tweet out, you know, episodes. I also got us on Instagram and very soon, TikTok as well. So, we're continuing to try to spread out. We're going to continue to try to build this channel. And yeah, just keep us on the lookout. We'll obviously link everything in bios and all that stuff. But guys, this is just the beginning. We're only 35 episodes in, which is crazy to think about already. But before I clear my throat, because I have the worst allergies ever lately. Andrew, I don't know about you, bro. My allergies have been
Oh, it's
ass.
been bad.
It's
It's
horrible.
been bad. Like this eye right here has been like, well, during the show has been kind of like a little red. So my
Yeah.
allergies have been screwy.
Oh yeah, like I literally almost feel sick because of how bad my allergies are. But
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Keep us in the loop, guys. Every Friday at noon, episodes dropping on
Yes,
YouTube.
sir.
And again, once we start on TikTok, I will let you guys know the minute that I tweet out our first stuff because I'm probably going to be trying some stuff here soon. Getting back into the video editing. So guys, keep on the lookout. There's more to come. This is going to be our year, man. Let's go get it.
This is our year, man. Let's do it.
All right, guys. We will see you guys next week with more Cavs, Browns, Guardians, Ohio State, whatever we get. We'll see you guys next week.